Over 10 years suffering from chronic shoulder issues, hurt when I slept, couldn't do daily activities, couldn't play my sport properly. Just caused me pain and agony the whole time. This routine I'm going to show you here helped resolve that, helped fix that, and now I don't have any issues. I've also helped fix dozens of athletes who've had chronic shoulder issues with the exact same routine and formula. Firstly, credit Ben Patrick, knees over toes guy. This is the routine I got from him and I'm forever grateful. 3 steps: get out of pain, improve range of motion, build strength and added protection. Step 1, get out of pain, restore function. So we've got 3 exercises here. First exercise is the dumbbell external rotation. Okay, this strengthens the rear shoulders, the external rotations. For me, my shoulder issue came from a lot of internal rotation stuff with the shoulder. So whether it was my posture, whether I was doing a lot of bench press when I was younger, a lot of bicep curls, all internally rotation with the shoulders. I was doing very little rear and external rotations. This led to massive imbalances, and eventually it just gave me problem after problem. So this is one of the main exercises that helped me solve that. So to set up, foot on the bench like so, hand on the opposite side of the bench. When you get your elbow, try to get your elbow and your shoulder in line. Arm at 90 degrees. Lowering down the dumbbell, all the way down and backward. Slow tempo coming down, 1, 2, 3, 4, power backward. So just for reference, just for instance, I'll give you an example. When I started on this exercise, I could only do 2 kilos I was struggling with. So I knew this is a real weak point for me. And I've often seen that with a lot of the athletes who have shoulder issues. When they do this exercise, we're very, very weak at it. And there's no wonder then there's the shoulder issues and imbalances. So once I got up to 10% body weight, which is a good standard, and for me that's about 8 kilos, my shoulder started to massively improve. I usually like programming this for 3 sets of 10. And depending on the severity of the shoulder issues, at least twice, if sometimes 3 times a week. Now, if that is an issue, if that's caused you pain, to scale that, some people that's even too much, even try body weight. Some people don't even have that range of motion, but that causes some difficulty. Then we have an option here. I'm going to go over here to the cable machine. Someone that has super fragile shoulders or really lacks that range of motion, I like the face pull, set up with a cable. You want to try and think of getting the metal piece into your neck, elbows all the way back. Really retracting your shoulder blades back. So really squeezing your shoulder blades back. Elbows driving the elbows back. I often use this as a warm-up to an upper body session. Higher reps work best for this. 15, 20 reps. I often sometimes even 50 reps, depending. That's a good alternative for the external rotations. Next we have is a Powell Raise, okay? Ben Patrick said he got this from Charles Poliquin. This one was a Powell Raise from I think he's a high jumper, Powell. And Charles Poliquin used that to build up his upper back in between those shoulder blades. The setup, I like having the bench around 45 degrees, hugging the bench like so. Arm straight overhead, all the way back. Control it for 4 seconds coming down. I like always following the dumbbell, so you can get all the way around. Again, important to keep your arms straight because you want the mid-back, upper back working. You don't want to use any other. You want as strict as possible. Again, I like 3 sets of 10 for this exercise. And depending on the client and the athlete is how much I'll program. At least once a week though, for most athletes I'll have in their program. Sometimes 2, even 3 times. So that's the Powell Raise. So the last exercise in this series is called the trap 3 raise. We've got 3 trap muscles, up, middle and lower. The lower traps are often very underdeveloped and weak. But when it comes to shoulders, why are they important? Well, the lower traps help stabilize the shoulder. So they connect all the way start at the bottom and they run up to the shoulder joint and they help stabilize the shoulder. So And also, they're really good for your posture and spine health. So it's all connected. The setup, right? Your feet on the floor, arms straight, come up into a Y. I personally like having two knees on the bench, crossing the legs, belly button on the bench, chest off it, and back. And you'll feel just above your lower back. Also feel your spine working. It's really like stretch as well for that spine. Again, 3 sets of 10 I program for. The standard, a good standard, from what I've seen out there, is around 8% of body weight. So if you're starting out with good regression, it's just overhead body weight, just thumbs up. And if that is even still too painful, you just go to the level you can, pain-free, and come back. Over time, trying to get all the way up overhead. Eventually start to add weight then, lightweight, and build them up. They're the 3 main exercises that I use, and I've used myself and others, to restore function in the shoulder and get out of the pain. We're now going to go on to step 2. So step 2 is we want to further increase the range of motion. We're progressing now to one exercise, the dumbbell pullover. I like having this in once we have a good level of progression and base with those 3 exercises prior, that we're able to progress, there's no pain. Now I want to further increase range of motion, improve the joint health and integrity even more, and get strong in the full ranges of motion. You're going to use the bench. You're going to have a half bridge position. Triangle formation of the dumbbell. Shoulder blades on the actual bench. And the main thing is you want to try and keep your arms straight. Bending the arms, it comes into more of a tricep exercise, and it kind of takes away from the shoulders going through that full range of motion. You won't get as great a stretch in around the lats and the shoulders, right? So lower the dumbbell overhead. As the dumbbell goes overhead, dropping the hips as well. Trying to get that dumbbell towards the floor. Hold for 1, 2, keep your arms straight, and back up, hips and arms overhead at the same time, come up together. So again, lower the dumbbell, keep the arms straight as possible, drop the hips in a light stretch, and back up. I like higher reps, sets of 12 up to 15. 33% body weight is a good standard on this. Ben Patterson talks about this as being his favourite upper body exercise, and I can see why. Is that first of all, you have the mobility gains in around the shoulder, but also it strengthens the lats, the back muscles, strengthens the chest, the pec muscles, the triceps, the biceps. So you're getting a lot of upper body strength, and you're getting the flexibility gains in one. So that's the beauty about this. I personally like this at the end of the session, and really kind of stretching everything out, especially if you're a lot of upper body pushing and pulling. So dumbbell pullover, I have it in at least once a week for my athletes. Again, sometimes 2 and up to 3 times. Last step now, step 3, is building further strength and adding more protection to the shoulder. So what we do, we've gotten out of pain, we've restored function, we've got good range of motion. We want to make that shoulder even stronger, an extra layer of protection. We go back when we're playing a sport, especially if you're playing skated football, rugby, any contact sports. When there's a lot of collisions, we want them shoulders as strong as possible. All right, we use full range of motion exercises here. Why full range of motion? Strengthens more of the shoulder joint more so than the muscles. Right, that's the big thing. And plus, you're getting mobility gains there as well, a bit of flexibility as well. All right, so the muscles are fully lengthened. Start with a push-up, right? So, well, full depth with these exercises. So what that means is shoulders go below the wrists. So I'll show you what I mean. Ow. You feel a massive stretch around shoulders, chest, and back up. If that's too difficult, start with your knees crossed. And we're still practicing, we're still getting in that full range of motion. So bringing the joints through that fullest range that they can, the maximum distance. All the way down. Shoulders below well. shoulders below wrists. So we can do 20 reps, full push-ups. But how can we increase the range of motion even more? How can we make this even challenging? Then we go to dips. So again, looking for full range of motion, shoulders below elbows. Prior to starting ATG, finding out about Ben Patrick, I often did dips, and they used to cause havoc on my shoulders. They used to destroy, used to be in pain for days, if not weeks, because they didn't have the function, the stability, they didn't have the capacity. My shoulders they were weak in the wrong places. So my point is, first get strong in step one, those exercises, the tricep, improve the range of motion, that dumbbell pullover. And once you start progressing with those exercises, you get strong at those exercises, then progress the dips. So just be mindful with that. Don't just jump straight into the dips, because they can cause issues if your shoulder isn't ready for them. But I will, one last thing on this though, like the dips really add that full range of dips, get strong at these, add that extra layer of protection, I'm able to really go give tackles, take tackles, playing guard, and without any ill effects afterwards, which prior I was never able to do that. So these add a real solid layer of strength and protection to the shoulders. The last exercise of this on step 3 is we want to strengthen the shoulder in all areas, okay? All different planes of motion. So we strengthen the shoulder horizontally, horizontal push. So with the dips or push-ups. Now we want to be strong overhead, okay? Again, overhead press was something I avoided for years because it actually used to cause me more harm than good. Once I got strong on those tri series, the step 1, overhead pressing was not an issue, right? So that's why step 1 is the most important. So with the overhead pressing, start relatively light dumbbells, knuckles facing each other, straight overhead, trying to get those elbows all the way back. Once you get comfortable and once you can add weight, once you're around 20% body weight for reps, 10 reps on each hand, pain free of course, then we can progress to the barbell behind the neck press. What I like behind the neck is extra range of motion. The shoulder joint is getting more strengthening than just the standard. Alright, standard is great, but more range of motion for me is better. You get more of a stretch, you're getting stronger in that end range. So obviously barbell behind the neck, you can have one foot half a step in the other, open the toes on the other foot. I like to have my chin down, knuckles up, pressing over, lock out the elbows, back down, all the way back down, and overhead. Why I like this as well is that strength, not just the front shoulder and the mid shoulder that you get in normal shoulder press, but it strengthens also the rear shoulders, as well as improving the range of motion in the shoulders. For me, I love it. Again, get strong on the exercises, step 1 and step 2. Before you go into this, make sure your shoulders in a good place. There are the 3 steps. I would say as well, when we're doing pressing, so whether it's dips, whether it's the overhead pressing, we want to balance that out with pulling as well, because that can cause shoulder issues. So your T-Rex rows, this one here, T-Rex rows, pull-ups, chin-ups, single arm rows as well. So we want as much or if not more pulling exercise than we are the pushing to keep our shoulders in balance and healthy. That's all for today's video. Hope you got some value from it, and any questions, leave them in the comments.